Hey guys, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for all who are joining. I appreciate you. We are in, an hour after our normal time. So thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Today, I'm talking to Diddy trial. I am also going to talk again about Fat Joe and the $20 million lawsuit with all the allegations against him. We're also going to throw in a little bit of Rock Nation and Nicki Minaj T. R. Kelly. We're also talking about R. Kelly's getting married. We're going to be talking about that today. Fat Joe again in Texas. We'll cover a little bit of that. The Diddy trial. What I would like if you guys would tap the screen. So if you will tap the screen, tap the screen. I'm looking for a 10K tap. I know that's a hard ask, but I really put in a lot of work for you guys. We're on day 28 of the Diddy trial. I've covered all 28 days. So I would love it if just out of just a thank you. If you would tap the screen, too, if you would tap the screen. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for all those who are coming in. Katie, I can see some of these. Tina, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate all of those who are stopping in. Kenneth, does it say Miss V? Yes, Miss V. Dana, Pro, Jose, Mary, Kev, just user on there. Thank you for all those who are stopping in. If you will stay in, tap that screen. Tap that screen. We get started at 150 to 200 taps. So if you will go ahead and get started with tapping that screen, I would highly appreciate it. I will go ahead and invite some mods in. And how was your weekend? I would love to know. Let me know how was your weekend. Thank you so much for that. Let me know how was your weekend. Thank you for your daily heart meets. I appreciate those when you send them as well. How was your weekend? Tell me about your weekend. Did you go to the barbecues and events and all the great things that were being hosted across some of the larger cities, Dallas, Houston, Austin, some of the larger Juneteenth events? Did you guys participate in that? If so, let me know. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get started. I'll tell you what, if the glasses do make me hot, they will come off. So get ready for a lot of back and forth with the glasses today. They tend to be a little bit in the way. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming in, Maud. Thank you when you do show up. I appreciate all that you do. If you will tap the screen, we get the screen tapped. I will go into some chill music until you guys can get that screen on tapped in. Tap that screen, tap that screen. No sense being in someone's live and you're not tapping and engaging, and it gives you points as well as it give me points. So I highly appreciate all those who do that. 200 people have stopped in so far. 19 people staying in the room, tuned in. I appreciate you. Let's get the D&D going. It's been a day. Is it a Monday for everybody? I want to know. Is it a Monday for you? Because it is a Monday for me. For you who was able to work in addition to getting the workout in. That is one of the challenges, making sure that you get the workout in. Also, still in keto. So how about that? Anybody else still in keto? It is almost 2 p.m. Texas time. I am still in keto. I have did my workout and I still got my work complete and still made it to do TikTok live and edited a YouTube video after work and got that in too. So if you were able to do some phenomenal stuff like that, let me know. I want to connect with my super women. We really don't have any requirements to be super women, but sometimes we choose to. Sometimes we end up doing so. All right, I'm going to talk over some interesting things that I came across. I wanted to make a point of view as we go in again. They're talking RICO charges in the Diddy trial, and the Fat Joe lawsuit is definitely making it look as if it could head to some kind of RICO, right? Some additional things happen with Rock Nation. So that kind of charge that the daughter of the CEO of Rock Nation, the lady, is her name Deborah, and her daughter filed a claim against her, and that could definitely look like control and coercion. And I'm not really sure why all that popped off during the Diddy trial, but very terrifying to look at the fact that industry wise, these are all names that tend to connect, right? But I was looking at one when it came to Smokey Robinson, right? Is it? for me, my point of view is this: when it comes to Smokey Robinson and that claim, and then he has, of course, he has a counterclaim going on. But is it the details of the inappropriate and unwarranted intimacy in those claims? Is that really what they're looking at with Smokey Robinson, or is it that all of the maids, what they had in common with all of the claims in the claims that were posted up for the maids that are filing against Smokey Robinson, all of them are immigrants? So is that something more that they're looking at? Do you guys think, chat? What do you think that they're looking at with Smokey Robinson, that they were immigrants and they made it into the country? Are they kind of questioning as to how they went about getting into the country? If you guys, thank you so much, Brent, for your daily heart meet. If you guys will tap the screen, I appreciate it. If you tap that screen, can we get that screen to 200 so we can get on to the Daily Child update? Meanwhile, I have a Fat Joe update for you. So, what you can do, the YouTube link in bio is a 2 hour chat. We talked all things Fat Joe. We talked about the $20 million lawsuit. I'm sorry, I forgot to I was listening to Don Lewis. Shout out to Don Lewis. Country music's great at the Country Music Awards and all kind of things this year, doing some phenomenal stuff. Definitely sitting in line with Shabusi and some of the others that are out there doing what they do. I think we'll see Don Lewis at Coachella next year for sure. I think we will see Don Lewis at Coachella next year. But so I was kind of listening to Don Lewis and didn't really do my due diligence to pull that Fat Joe back up. So what I did was a 2 hour talk on the Fat Joe $20 million suit. Gave you all the details that I was able to research and to pick up. I did a complete detail, and if you go to my YouTube link in bio, you'll be able to pull up that entire talk. It's under the What D Says podcast. So that's where you can go. Texas, I know y'all are hot out there today. Extremely hot out there today, right? So anyway, Fat Joe has been accused by his hype man of some major allegations in a shocking lawsuit that was dropped. There's a countersuit. I tell you the details of Fat Joe's coming back and saying, look, this is the detail, this is not true, I'm being framed, or the person is just trying to get money from me. But the hype man in his claim says that 4,000 times Fat Joe forced him into inappropriate, intimate situations. He also accuses Fat Joe of being in relationships with and also having created incidents where it was minors. So he's being accused of that. Fat Joe's lawsuit is very much looking real. It's looking real Epstein. It's looking real Epstein. I don't know why I keep trying to put my phone over there because I still need it. So I give you it's a 2 hours worth of details in that lawsuit. So if you want to go by over there and tap into that, we will get, I'll go back to it if we have time today. But I give you 2 hours of that on YouTube. You can go and it'll say Fat Joe, $20 million lawsuit, and you can click on that. What D says. Turn on the notifications, subscribe over there because you'll get the full talks sometimes without all this extra going on that tends to happen over here on the app, right? Also, in addition to that, I talk in that same talk. I give you the details of the Rock Nation CEO, the daughter of the Rock Nation CEO. She is filed a claim against her mother, the CEO of Rock Nation, and Nicki Minaj flood the media after that news broke, kind of co-signing what the daughter has to say in that allegations, which are really bad. Like, they held me against my will, forced me into a mental institution, causing me to do this, and that hold against my will, making me do something that I didn't ask to do. All of that is keep coming up with these major labels that are constantly seen years before together, from Rock Nation to Bad Boy to Big Pun. We talk these major labels that are constantly seen years before together, from Rock Nation to Bad Boy to Big Pun. We talk about that. So all you have to do is just click on the YouTube link in bio, and I have that for you guys, okay? In addition to that, oh, I had a question for you guys, just a political question. I know you know what's going on in politics of, what the Precy from the United Steezy had to do this weekend. So you're familiar with that conversation. And that administration, his administration, was seen some hours ago, earlier today, praying loudly in front of the Capitol in a circle by some vehicles, praying loudly, for the nation and speaking in tongues and asking for covering of the nation, should we continue to worry and dial up our worry just a little bit more when we see the administration of the Prezi from the United States speaking in prayer and almost on their knees, crying to the Lord on the way to the altar about whatever they know about that's coming? Should we worry a little bit about that? I have a question for that. You guys, what do you think in the chat? Do you think that we need to worry about that? Let me know, because that was a little bit problematic to me. Now, I'm going to skip over before we talk Diddy trial. I'm going to fast forward to R. Kelly, Jocelyn Savage. You remember, for those who went all deep, I personally did not watch Surviving R. Kelly. I kept up with the trial because I believe in, when you pull all these artists and you have all these accusations, I believe and proved to me beyond reasonable doubt that these individuals did that, so that a judicial system is not looking like you are picking on our people. Because I am very careful to make sure that that is not happening, because I like to listen to the quotes and the speeches and the words of Brother Malcolm X. So I do sometimes wonder, yeah, I'm the Christian that listens to Malcolm X. Okay. So I do sometimes wonder, are you guys, what are you guys really up to? Because you can't tell me that just one culture of people do something. You can't tell me that there aren't other people that doing the same things. So when you come, I kind of go to the court legal side of things. So I didn't watch Surviving R. Kelly. I don't have any need for that. Right. But what I did do, keep up with some of the things that were said. Jocelyn Savage was a person that was, allegedly with him, right? And the parents had said that she was against her will and not, being allowed to come and go, and that R. Kelly was, keeping her for those all inappropriate, intimate moments, and all that was said, right? Well, Jocelyn hit the internet this weekend, broke it in half. Not really, girl. It's Beyonce internet. It's impossible to break Beyonce's internet unless you're Beyonce, but she did attempt to. She gave an R. Kelly update and said that her parents, you can't trust them, don't listen to them, they don't know what they're talking about, they don't want anything good for her. She then also said in that video that, if it's not AI. She also said in that video, and she's been, off the scene for a minute, right? But she also said in the video that, her and R. Kelly have been together 10 years. He's been kind of in the clink clink for what, about 6 years or so. But she says that they've been together and happy and in a great relationship. She has no confusion as to who she is in his life. So much so to where they've been together 10 years. He's been, in the clink clink. She says she's been to visit him every weekend in the clink clink. And the shocker, they're getting married. She said they're about to get married. Her and R. Kelly are about to get married, and her and R. Kelly are about to have children. So life continues behind bars. About to get married, and her and R. Kelly are about to have children. So life continues behind bars. Sounds like she might get a whole reality show from that announcement if R. Kelly confirms that all of that is true. You never know with the angry exes, right? So if R. Kelly confirms that that's true, then we shall see. I want to get you guys to the Diddy trial, but I really need you guys to tap that screen. So let's tap the screen. If you guys will, let's tap the screen. Let me take a look at something. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at something. And I wanted you guys to know that, like I said before the show, I was listening to Don Lewis. So if you're not listening to Texas country artist Don Lewis, that is such a vibe when you are, kind of coming down from your busy work day, whatever it is for your commute, however you guys go about it. I highly suggest Don Lewis. Okay. What I did want to do, I want to do, the Diddy trial, but I want to get you guys into some chill music for a minute, because I think you guys, I think you could do better than that. And if you do better than that, then I could go ahead and get you guys started. Okay. Now y'all moving. Now y'all moving. Now y'all care. Now y'all care. Okay, I see you do care. So yeah, that was the update that I had for you. What R. Kelly? I'm going to tell you about Texas and their special session that was held today on whether or not the entire state of Texas will be able to access the likes of nothing at any store, whether legal, whether recreational, or whether medical, and whether or not that actually what the governor did in regard to that. We will talk about that shortly at the end, okay? But before I get into this Diddy trial, we all need some water. Get some water. Get some water because you're gonna need it. You're going to need some water. It's a lot happened today. Can you imagine 50 videos? Can you imagine, if you have made inappropriate, intimate, public videos with your significant other, and if you've done that 50 times and y'all swingers, can you imagine the footage of that being shown to a jury, several members of a jury, in addition to attorneys and the defendant himself? Can you imagine 50 videos of y'all's actions? I don't know how y'all get down, but if y'all be getting down in that B8, you probably do you think that you would want 50 of those videos shown? But I promise you that is what happened in this unpredictable Diddy trial court today. You never know what's going to happen in a Diddy trial. That, my loves, did happen. So let's get into it. One thing that happened at the start of the day was getting an understanding as to when will closing arguments happen. And that was made clear with the discussion prior to the jury being let in. That was made clear between the prosecution, defense, and judge, kind of, saying, okay, I know we've had a pause with the sick juror and things like that happen. I know that kind of delayed things just a little bit, but can we get on task and kind of get an idea as when you're going to get to closing arguments so that we can see, will we get a jury to deliberation before the 4th of July? They didn't say that, but their wives are at home saying it. Like, stop playing with me. We have the husbands of the prosecution. They definitely are like, I'll go on vacation without you. I will take these kids and we will still do 4th of July. You better wrap up that Diddy business, right? And then the defense, they're definitely, the wives are like, I'll go. I'll meet me someone special. I will wait to excel if you do not wrap up that trial. So they definitely are getting some feedback from home, probably, right? So they definitely need to wrap up this trial. So that is definitely going to happen. The closing summation to start on Thursday. They kind of confirmed that it will start. So closing arguments will get themselves underway Thursday with the agreement made between the defense and the prosecution, the U.S., and the judge. Final part of arguments, reviewing the points made, expressing the conclusions, getting to all that, gusto, who can make their point the best way. That is absolutely oh, that's okay. Enigma is busy. My puppy is on one. If you have puppy calming suggestions, definitely put them in in the chat because Honey kind of is the bodyguard of puppy, and my puppy is like, he's a dorky, so he's Dachshund and Yorkie. I like to say he's German. He's mixed with German, so he's determined. All right, so yeah, my dorky is a problem and too small to be a problem. So listen, the prosecution, that they have a summary kind of witness up to date, and that's talking to as HSI. If you haven't seen that, they believe that that will take them until tomorrow to complete everything that they are unfolding. And then when we hear 50 videos, so here's what I did. The media did release some of that good stuff that was released, but not that good stuff. But they did release the court did release some things to. Let me show you. Let me show you some of the things that were released from the trial today, that, images that were presented to the jury. If I'm able to get those images up. So, they looked at things like this. Let me see if I can get this in the screen. They were looking at things like this today. Can y'all see that? They were looking at things like this. This is a whole setup of a freak off. Hmm. This is a setup of a freak off. So the jury was taking a look at things like that. The jury also was taking a look at images like this. Not really sure why they needed to see him working out with the cameraman filming. Don't know what that's about, but that's what the jury was taking a look at today. The jury took a look at him on the beach, him at the house, Diddy doing what Diddy does. In addition to that, if you want to see, take a look inside the deliberation room. It's gonna have plenty of room for some sandwiches, some fried chicken, and collard greens. I doubt that they eat all that, but they definitely are going to have plenty of room to lay out the food for however long it takes them to come to the full conclusion as to guilty or not guilty. And you guys can go ahead. We could do a mock jury right now. Want to play along? Let's go. Go in the chat, guilty or not guilty. Let me know. If I could set up a poll, I would set up a poll. But let me know I'm on a different device. I don't really know where that button is. Let me know, guilty or not guilty. Is Sean P. Diddy Combs guilty or not guilty? You've seen enough. You've come in. You've listened to all the breakdown. We're kind of wrapping up the things that we have to say. It's kind of repetitive at this point, confirming and going over some of the same things. So go ahead, mock trial, mock jury. Can I get some 4 people? I don't know, however many people. Can you go ahead and do guilty or not guilty? Did he guilty? Did he not guilty? What do you think? Go ahead and say that in the chat. Beyond reasonable doubt, did you arrive at that conclusion beyond reasonable doubt? Let me know, Chad. I would love to hear if that's the case. So, as the summary witness was up to date, the defense case was including exhibits, like I told you, 50 videos. The jury, let me show you a video. I mean, let me show, I can't show you their video. Can't show you that. Like, we're not going to get in that kind of trouble. Okay. If you click on my timeline right now, I have the courtroom art. If the first video for today that was posted for today, courtroom art is up. After the live, I will put up the images that were released to the media of Sean P. Diddy Combs. After the live is over, I will put all those images up because I know you can barely see these on my phone, right? So this is, a look at the jury. This is the jury today. Can you see this? Artwork from Jane Rosenberg in the courtroom of the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. Let me know if you can see this. So this is the jury. And if you see Diddy right here, he has on headphones. Do you see on his screen right there? On Diddy's screen, he's looking at the videos. There's a difference. There's a difference. Sean P. Diddy Combs in these videos, allegedly him, at this point, the jury knows that it is his image of him in the videos. In the videos that he's watching on the screen, and the videos on the screen, can you see those? Sorry, I'm trying my best to get that to do what it's supposed to do. In the video, the image is up on my timeline. You can go on my timeline. We'll follow the host while you're there. You can click on there. You can see the video up, and you'll see the image. But listen, he has on headphones. He has been peeking at the jury and kind of looking to see their reaction as they watch 50 different videos of clips of him. I'm going to tell you some of the scenes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those scenes, just a little bit, not much, because a lot cannot be covered on here. I mean, this isn't OnlyFans. Y'all gonna have to drop galaxies for me to have that kind of a conversation, okay? Because this isn't OnlyFans. We can't talk like that. But if I do dare talk like that, and like I might get my account taken, y'all gonna have to drop galaxies to get those kind of details, okay? I'm joking. I am not. Okay, so listen. When it comes to Diddy looking at the jury, and Diddy's looking at the screen of the video present, what's being presented, so he can decide as a defendant if he, I'm gonna talk about Diddy on the stand in a minute, give you some tea on that, so he could decide, where does he stand on this. He may not remember a lot of this because it is reported constantly by his assistants, by his team, by people who worked for Sean P. Diddy Combs on YouTube, different people that he's always and we've seen him go, and take them in on different videos over the years. So he's always kind of under the influence of, but in this particular day today, as he's watching the clips of the 50 videos, he's himself. And they gave him a coming to Jesus moment. Like, he had to sit and go through 2 to 3 minutes per video of 50 different videos of him doing. It wasn't just Cassie. It wasn't just Jane. It wasn't just an escort. Sometimes the room had a lot of people in there. So he's having to take a look at that in a sober mind. What do you think is going through Diddy's mind? Who does he think that he is now that he's sober and seeing some of the things that he's being accused of, and seeing the videos of the things that he's done? What do you think that he thinks as he sees himself sober? Because the sober mind may not really remember the things that of a under the influence mind, right? All right. Somebody said Diddy's guilty. Lisa came with her guilty. So who's going to join the jury, the mock jury in the chat? Who's going to join? Guilty or not guilty? We need to get a even number, if you will. Go through their mod and tell me at least 4 people will have a fair jury. We need at least 4 people to have a fair jury. Guilty or not guilty? How many people can we get with a guilty or not guilty in the chat? And we need at least 4. I would love 12, because then that would be more accurate of a mock jury. All right. So if I did not tell you, I am a, recent paralegal graduate, 2024 paralegal graduate. I am an author of six relationship books that are on the market right now. I'm an author of more books than that, but six that are on the market right now. The links are in the bio. I do relationship life coaching. I've been podcasting since 2010. I've interviewed every people from everyday persons. I've done interviews with the likes of adult film star Mr. Marcus. I've done interviews with Mama DeBarge, may she rest in peace. I've interviewed Kelly Price. So either whether it's lower or high up celebrity, I've had different interviews and people on my platform, people that work in the industry behind the scenes. I've talked to them. I have a bodyguard. One of the great bodyguard interviews that I did. He's the bodyguard in the beginning of his career of 50 Cent. He's now a good friend of mine, but he was a bodyguard of 50 Cent and Bow Wow. And, recently you've seen him on tour with Lil Baby. I think his brother is doing some work over there with Chris Brown. Just phenomenal guy. I'm going to show you guys how to follow him on Instagram. Also, just a great guy doing great things. So there's a lot of behind the scenes people that I like to talk to sometimes because they have lives also and they matter, right? And that's just a little feedback for the people that are new to the room, okay? So, anyway, going back to the prosecution, looking at that picture that I just showed you, again, that image is available. First image, more the one, two, three, four, the fourth image on my timeline. You can take a look at that 3-year pinned, and then the first image from today. And take a look at that. Diddy has on headphones, according to the artwork of Jane Rosenberg. She's doing the art in the Fed courtroom for the Diddy trial. And he has on headphones. He's looking at the screen, the same screen that the jury is looking at. So, any more want to cast your vote? The mod is asking you guys answer the mod, follow the mod, and answer the questions from the mod. Let me know if you're able to get a good number, and when you get that number, definitely update me. What do you guys think? Guilty or not guilty? uh, Diddy, is he guilty or not guilty? Okay, so prosecution witness. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I pointed out in that testimony earlier from HSI, the Homeland. Okay, you guys know HSI, right? And so that HSI organization had Joseph Cercielio on the stand, right? Let's just call him Joe. Let's call him Agent. So Agent's on the stand, and he was talking. I'll tell you that other part in a minute. Let me get that out of my way so I won't look at it. So he's talking on the stand on about a flight from Las Vegas to Van Nuys. Then he talks about the text that he was questioned about text between Sean P. Diddy Combs. The text says Puff and KK and Anika. I'm not gonna let that be our Anika. Anybody else? Anybody else where I'm at with that? So I'm not gonna let that be our Anika Tanya Mirage Petty. Okay, so I don't know what that why that I don't know what that was about. I had to leave that alone and do some more research. So I'm gonna sit that to the side because when we say Onika in this industry, fans think So yeah, get that crystal clear. They dropped so many names throughout this entire trial. It's hilarious. Like, what are you guys doing with these names, right? But I don't know what that was about. But anyway, they questioned about the text that was seen between KK and Anika and Puff. He went on to answer about one of the videos. Now, the videos are in an exhibit and they have exhibit numbers. The media has been given some images. How detailed of images the media will put out, I don't know, because they say a lot more is coming. So you might want to just stay tuned to the news. I've shown you some of the images just now. A lot more is coming. So you might want to just stay tuned to the news. I've shown you some of the images just now. If anybody missed the images, let me know. But he goes on and he's answering questions about Exhibit GX1406, which is one of the inappropriate intimate videos. That's what we're going to call those FOs. Inappropriate intimate videos that were seized in the raid, perhaps. And that was on the exhibit. It included in the video that GX1406 includes. Go ahead and get some water because y'all don't want to know. Y'all don't want to know. Y'all probably already know, but y'all just, I hate the way y'all just so comfortably talk about it, but I'm not here to judge. I pray every day. All right. So, all right. So this, I'm not here to judge. I pray every day. All right. So, all right. So this trial right here will have you at the altar. If you haven't been at the altar with the pastors after going through this trial and listening to the details of the trial, You probably could get a job with Sean P. Diddy Combs. All right. So anyway, so the he goes on to answer about this video, and the video that they had on exhibit was a video that included Jane. You remember Jane and the testimony of Jane, and only need four more people. Guilty, not guilty. We have two. If not, we'll, right now we have a split jury. So if we leave it like that, Diddy may go home or he may not go home. In our mock jury, we have only Lisa has guilty, and who is that? D. Mula. Is that how you say that? Am I looking at that correct? Is saying that. Make sure you guys follow. If you're not following me, if I'm not following you, I will follow you back. Once I see that you guys are supporting and following, I will follow back. Okay, so listen. Lisa says guilty. Other person says not guilty. So we have a split jury. So here we go. Diddy may go home because y'all want answers. So Diddy may go home. You definitely need two more people. Give me a little bit of a different percentage. If not, I'll just go with he may go home or he may not go home. The same thing we've been saying for 28 days, right? So in this video, is Sean P. Diddy Combs, and this exhibit is reported back from the court reporters that are in the main courtroom. In the video is Sean Combs in this exhibit GX1406. You'll probably hear about this quite a bit in the news today. So Jane from the testimony from the prosecution, Jane, one of the key witnesses, Jane, Sean Combs, and Cabral, I guess is how you say the name. And then the prosecution then asked the agent, um, agent, were there any other men in the video? So the agent then answers, yeah, yeah, it's a room full of men. And I say that because if he was going to say, was there any other person, he knows how to say that. He's prosecuting. I'm sorry, she knows how to say that. It's prosecution presenting our women. So the prosecution knows how to ask, is it another person? They know how to say it like that, right? Or they know how to say, was it two other guys? Was it a guy and a woman? They know how to say that. They said, are there any other men in the video? Whoever that is in that video with Sean P. Diddy Combs, Jane, and one of the escorts, y'all other people is three or more for sure. Yeah, and it's men. And y'all just it dripped industry when I heard just hearing it, I was like, it's dripping industry. I hate to keep coming for that. Clean the industry up because until y'all clean it up, we have nothing but to think these thoughts. But anyway, prosecution said any other men, and agent says yes, there are other men in the video. Prosecution went on to say, can we go to the 5 minute mark or whatever happened at the 5 minute mark between Sean P. Diddy Combs and Jane and these men? Remember Jane's testimony. It seems like all you want to do is have me late with all these men and you don't really want me, and then he tries to sweet talk her, and remember all that, right? And then she's like, no, you just want to be with Gina and I'm just a laid up person. Remember all that, right? So okay, well, did I clear it up that we've long since proven that it's Jane was not Gina? Okay, I hope I did. Jane Doe was not Gina, or so they're trying to make us think. All right, so anyway, it said go to the 5 minute mark. Prosecution says go to the 5 minute mark. Spends time viewing, so they spent some time viewing what was happening at that 5 minute mark. Also, they asked, they said, can you also go to row 16? Is that going to be another video? And then that continues on and on. 50 videos are in this exhibit today. I'm sorry about that. I can't control the echo, you guys. So what the update that we got from TikTok is they understand that it's happening. They're working on it, and they said we just got the show must go on kind of thing because they don't know why we keep getting that feedback. But we're in the middle of WW3. Cyber is on the table. Hope y'all follow that. All right, so in parts, like literally, I think that people will do things to cyber and all kind of get control with the oil. Like all that's how people fight back. That's the kind of things that they do to try to win with a nation that's more as powerful as ours, right? All right, so in parts of the testimony, prosecution is asking who are the participants here, and the agent answered. If it's uncomfortable for you guys, let me know. How bad is the echo? How bad is the echo? Let me know. All right, let me know how bad is the echo. I kind of reset the microphone a little bit. Hopefully that helps. But it's just kind of one of those things. Can't really control it. All right. So in parts of the testimony, anybody else hearing an echo feedback? Anybody else hearing an echo? And if you are hearing an echo, try coming out of the live and coming back. Sometimes that helps also. In parts of the testimony, the prosecution is asking, who are the participants here? Agent answers Fahim and Brendan Paul, something about the exhibits that they were talking about after the show. And then this is when it kind of gets into, transportation. But again, transportation is one of the lesser charges, right? But it seems like if I could answer a fair answer, yes, beyond reasonable doubt, they have proven transportation for prostitution, like beyond reasonable doubt, that lesser charge. That's looking at a 0 to 10 years, right? So that's a go home on the day of decision kind of thing, if that's all that they come back with. So they kind of have proven that, right? But we already know that that's kind of a lesser charge kind of thing. Maybe go home with an ankle monitor, go home on some parole kind of things, right? After depending on legislation is trying to be passed to where that's not going to be very good. So for all you PIMPs out there, do know that they coming. And they in Congress and they have been meeting about it, and they coming. Okay, and it might just be that the Pimpin' the Friday movies about the only pimp we gonna see in the years going forward. I'm just saying they are coming for the Johns. So in those texts, they talk about an after show. Jane is in town. There's a room at the. We have to say his name. There's no other way to say it. There's a room at the Trump Tower, and then they say, "Man, mm, and they're like, what? Down? There's a down." So KK texts at some time. I'm guessing this is happening at the same time. She always knows about something, even when men are down, right? She says, "I ordered the food and the plates, and I'm gonna have to bring your phone up to you." And then she gets this message from Sean Combs to KK, and in the audio, he's saying, "I have to run out of town real quick." So I don't know if this is at the same time that the person is all out in the Trump Tower. I don't know. I'm just saying it just all seemed to run together, right? And then says, Diddy says in that audio, "I have a family emergency." Then he says, "You know what I'm saying?" So we, recognize Diddy's voice. We know that's him, right? Allegedly, could be AI. I'm just laying out everything on the table. Mock jury, did y'all come up with the answer? Guilty or not guilty? So why was he rushing off after a man in the Trump Tower? I don't know. Y'all don't have questions? And it was after one of those FOs was set up. I don't know. Prosecution also says, kind of moving forward through the testimony, moving forward, what does Jessica Ruiz text to Sean Combs? So now Jessica Ruiz, is that how you say the last name? Text to Sean Combs. Agent then answers, "Had to change drivers." That's what the text says. "I had to change drivers." And then Jane texts that same thing to Cabral Williams. So the prosecution then talks moves forward. What are the next 4 videos? Again, 50 videos were presented during testimony today. Agent, I don't know how many more videos, because remember when they talked about the raid on the news, it was a lot of videos. About 45 minutes later, they talk about the explicit videos, and then about 45 minutes later, there's text about or some transaction statements from JP Morgan, and they just say it. Normally you would think at a trial they would just say bank. For some reason, they go straight with the JP Morgan to Arthur Fitness for $1,000. When I hear the bank name being thrown out there with no coverage and just going straight to the whole JP Morgan thing, I then begin to think, because Tony Busby said when he had, the 800 number press conference, and he's like, "I'm coming for celebrities and I'm coming for big business people." After he made that statement, the Abercrombie Fitch dude got clinked and got out the same day. And then he said, "I also will be coming for big banks and major chain hotels and resorts." So is JP Morgan one of those? I don't know. I don't know. We shall see, right? So, but just remember, child, Tony Busby talked about it first. So he did say he had high profile business names, etc., involved. You guys still split? Mock jury, you still split in the chat? You still feel guilty or not guilty? You only have one saying guilty, the other saying not guilty. Diddy may go home then. Y'all don't want to answer, so Diddy going home. That's the universe. That's the rules of the universe. Okay. So anyway, continuing on, Sean Combs' voice is on one of the autos, and he's asking about money. And there's several different audios that they play where you hear him allegedly, if not AI, asking for 5K for Fahim. The prosecution. What does Sean Combs text to Jane? And then there was a text. Paul's going to meet us at 9:30, and prosecution says can you play Sean Combs to Frank Rodriguez? And they talked about that. And then Sean Combs tells Frank, make sure that the room is set up right. Lots of focus on that, making sure that the room is set up right. So I wanted you guys to see what the room looks like. Sorry. So when the room is set up right, when it's looking right and it's tight, this is what they're looking for. Him, I guess, his boss and KK. They said set it up and set it up right. Set it up and set it up and make it look tight. Up and set it up right. Set it up and set it up and make it look tight. Can you guys see that? Again, I'll have all these images that will be. Oh, look at that. I thought this image right here was like, that's so Diddy with the roses. But you know what? I'm also thinking, listen, I'm also, you see, it says love, so the room is set up nice and right and tight. But beyond reasonable doubt, how do I not know that he's setting up a love scene? The roses. We see Michael B. Jordan be all super great too when he was dating Lori Harvey, right? We've seen Russell with Sierra. Men do great things like that. Put roses all over the place. It's not abnormal, right? So I don't really see anything that, those images from just how the room was set up doesn't really show anything that's C-rim, not criminal in nature, right? I have to get back to that part of the notes. So anyway, there's a text that they continue to talk about. Also, prosecution's having this conversation with the agent on the stand. KK texted sometime. I ordered the food and the plates. I'll have to bring your phone to you. And then the message from Sean Combs to KK when he talks again about having to get out of town real quick. He talks about, I've got to go real quick. And this is after something happens at the Trump Tower where a man is out from the freak off, right? I'm guessing. We don't know what that means. It just says man down. And we're just guessing at that point. Um, there's also make sure the room is all right. I just showed you that. And then there's additional really explicit. You have to go read the transcripts once they are released because they're really intimate texts between Diddy and Jane, and they shared those in court today. And they are nasty AF. And y'all don't drop galaxies. So y'all don't get nasty AF without galaxies. Okay and okay. All right, no, but seriously, they're really nasty kind of text messages, and they are up and available. And I just didn't want to add it to the notes, right? There are messages that link payments to Bad Boy Enterprises. So now we go into those charges. They are trying to prove as trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So they're trying to get a whole RICO, right? So these kind of text messages about confirming that this was Diddy passing money through Bad Boy Enterprises, passing money through, any of the companies, as well as Sean Combs, himself, or, the fashion or any one of the companies. That's something that they're trying to prove, and this is why the prosecution is trying to land with these details. Got you all confused, jury, in the beginning with the other details about Smex and who's not Smex and who kind of thing, but then this is where they're really trying to go when it comes to RICO, right? So I say this: the testimony, has a summary with the witnesses and the text and the details of the inappropriate, intimate relationship kind of details. But listen, I don't think that the Diddy trial is simply about Nancy Smacks. I just don't think it's about smacks only. For sure, it's not just about transport. I hope that they're only going to land at transportation, prostitution, kind of thing, and they going to go a little harder. And if they decide to bring him on Rico, they bring everybody with them. We can't just have one of them go down. All the rappers involved got to go down, right? That's just the fair game. That's just the way that this goes. So you're going to take one, you take them all. Don't take none. Isn't that how that goes? Anybody else agree? That's how that goes. You're going to take one, you take them all, or you just leave it alone and move on like the way that y'all did with Woody Allen. She said what she said. All right, so the court had their little break or whatever. I did look at some of the updates on all the different podcasts and platforms where they're talking about the defense may not be calling witnesses, but if the defense does, we do remember when the main attorney, Mark, he did say that he said in that documentary with TMZ, do you remember that? Where he says, I can't keep my client off the stand. The rumors are out there that Diddy, I don't know who confirmed from the Diddy camp that Diddy is going to get on the stand, but there is people out there in those podcasting lying streets that say that they have confirmation. Most of the people inside the courtroom haven't seen anything about any confirmation on Diddy testifying, as well as I'm going to lay out for you. I don't know when we could fit it in. I mean, the only thing with the schedule as tight as it is to try to get to deliberations and get to a verdict by the 4th of July, which is kind of the conversation and meeting that they had this morning, and to get to those closing arguments by Thursday, prosecution wraps up tomorrow morning, Tuesday. Defense begins tomorrow afternoon, trying to lay out everything that they have to lay out, and they say they have no witnesses or whatever. They lay out everything that they have. By the time they get Diddy to the stand, he can only say it wasn't me. That's it. Or he can say it was all Clive Davis and go call Clive. All right, that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna say nothing else. I get so much trouble. I'm not gonna say nothing else. Call Clive. Call Clive. He might just say, call Clive, ask Clive. I don't know what I do not know what Sean P. Diddy Combs will say, but I do know that there's not very much time for him to say it because they are talking, getting to those closing arguments, wrapping those up by Thursday, getting the jury to the deliberations. The jury has to go through everything. They can't just stop at what they saw on that day. The jury has to go back through all 50 of the videos, of the lay low spread wide activity, and then they have to go back to Cassie, and they have to go back to Capricorn Clark, and they have to go to Jane, Namia, they have to go to Kid Cudi, they have to go to the assistants, they have to go through all the things that the expert witnesses came, the summary witnesses that the defense will present if they do present any, and the summary witnesses that were brought up by the prosecution. They have to go through all that, and they need to do this by the 4th of July. So that's okay. People don't really like to, people still scared of Diddy in them streets, babe. They don't even want to be on the mock jury. They on social media scared to be on the mock jury. Sorry. Those are just jokes. All right. So listen, those are jokes, people. Y'all not scared of Diddy. Y'all will come for him if he came for you. I know. Y'all tough. I'm just kidding, y'all. We're not scared of Diddy. All right. So he's harmless, we think, until they prove beyond reasonable doubt that he's not. All right, so listen. They have to get to the S trafficking, the force, F rod, coercion, transportation. They have to get to that to engage in prostitution, a whole RICO. They have to get to whether or not a RICO or whether they're just going to go with the lesser charges where they just give him the 0 to 10, or are they going with the higher up charges where he will do life. They have to get to that. Of course, he'll appeal and all those kind of things will happen. But we see how the R. Kelly appeals are going, right? Did he transport workers for use of body work? Did he do that, right? The defense could counter. Okay, so what do you think the defense would counter with? If you guys want to participate and tell me what you think the defense counter would be. The defense could go, did he worked hard to make sure that videos were not put out there. He was not forcing people and blackmailing people about what he had recorded on videos. Those were just really personal protection moments that he had and had nothing to do with anything else other than pleasure between, girlfriends that he lived that kind of lifestyle with. They could, he could say, I was making a music video. Wouldn't be that far off. Have you guys seen the WAP video? I mean, there are videos out there where things happen, right? So he could just say he was making a music video. He was making a mini film, a movie about all the people that he had met over the years that were willing to lay with him. This is an artist, so we know nothing about how the defense will present or counter, but the defense has some strong counters that they definitely can do, right? How will they go about proving it to make sure that there wasn't any, I have this video of you, and if you don't do XYZ, then I'm going to show this video to the world, and everything about what you have going on is going to be brought. How do we know that he wasn't doing that? Well, they have to prove that beyond reasonable doubt. Which side that they're going to go with, the jury, we don't know. Again, I tell you, 50 videos were shown. Around 2 minutes or so of the videos were shown. That's a part of what happened in the court today. Diddy has on headphones. I showed you that photo. That's also the main photo on my timeline. You can see today's photo on the timeline. I'm also going to show you some of the images that were given to the media from the court today, from the exhibits that were presented today. Some of those images, I'll put those up later after the live. Diddy has a come to Jesus moment, possibly. We see the praying hands. The court artist is definitely trying to tell us something, right? So, looking at those videos of himself from a sober mind, what do you think he's thinking about who he is as a person, who those persons are, what kind of lifestyle he was in? Was he unaware? Was he fully under the influence and being forced by some evil force that's larger than him to do all those things, right? You see and hear what they allege to be Diddy's voice, the prosecution on notes that was exhibited. He's heard asking for money, like $15,000 for Jane, and asking for medication and large sums of money from the alleged Diddy voice, shopping for baby oil. That conversation that he has to KK, like, why am I doing this? Why am I out here shopping for baby oil? That's something you should do. But he's being playful when he says that in that audio. But you can hear that, Diddy's playful voice, right? But all audio was not able to be redacted, so there's still a lot that has to be presented, but they weren't able to get every inch of every conversation that he's ever had. So maybe those listening devices weren't listening that hard, right? There again were photos and videos and evidence today. They were released to the media. I will put that up as a post after the live today. How did we do on time? We did really good on time today. I will put that up as a post after the live today. How did we do on time? We did really good on time today. Did anyone want to come up? This is your time to tap up. So, will Diddy testify? Chat, if you think he will testify, let me know. If he does get up there, it's my opinion that he's just going to say it wasn't me and get off the stand, not implicate himself in any other way. It wasn't me, but I know who it was. Or will he just yell out a bunch of names? I don't know. They really don't have time for Diddy to get on the stand, but they might, because again, in the TMZ doc, the main attorney, Mark Anifilo, did say, I can't keep my client off the stand, and it's looking as if there's little to no time available for him to do so. Yet, it is the Diddy trial. Any given Diddy. Any given Diddy, you don't know what's going to happen in this trial. So, I don't know. Any given day, any given Diddy, who knows what will happen in this trial. So, I can't tell you whether or not he'll testify or not. The jury verdict is to be expected. So here's kind of like the meeting that they had. We're going to do closing arguments on Thursday. We are going to make sure the defense presents, probably starting beginning tomorrow afternoon. Prosecution needs a little bit of Tuesday to complete what they're doing with their presentation, and defense will begin. They're going to wrap their way into Thursday. Closing arguments will go into Thursday. Jury will then go into full deliberation. Jury verdict is expected in the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial of the century. The jury verdict is expected around July 3rd or 4th. But they could linger. They could just say F the holiday and stay on and eat a bunch of sandwiches and pizza and take in a bunch of carbs and ruin their entire macro goals. They could do that and stay through the 4th of July and all the way through, I don't know, to the 5th or the 6th and 7th and 8th. I doubt that, though. The jury verdict is really expected to be around July 3rd or 4th. How many hours, Chad, do you think that the jury will do? Do you think that the jury will get it done in 22 hours, similar to the Karen Reed trial? Do you think the jury will say in 30 minutes? He didn't do it. Said what I said, and then everybody will go home. Or not. What will happen? In that deliberation room, let's show you the deliberation room one more time. So I'll show you what the entryway looks like. So you see, this is the jurors. This is where they'll be. I hope you can see this. See, this is the jurors. This is where they'll be. I hope you can see this. Sorry. I feel like I have, I'm blackity black, black, black. So I keep oil. I keep oil all over my body. Well, oil all over my body. So yeah, I'm always have oil. So it's oil on my phone for sure. But listen, and then there's the deliberation room. How long are they gonna want to sit in there and look each other in the face? Okay, we have no idea. We have no idea. But the verdict is expected around July 3rd or 4th. They will do things in there like go over Cassie's testimony, replay audio, look at those F off videos that they're being shown, all those videos and images, those F offs that were presented today. The video today, Jane and Diddy and an escort and other men. Like they will go over that and try to decide what they think about that, whether they will be fully traumatized about the industry or not. Depends on what's in those videos. I don't know, but they didn't say that. That has nothing to do with the trial. So anyway, they're going to replay those videos. They are going to read the text again during the deliberation. That's kind of things that they'll do. They'll have the Cassie, the Mia, the Jane, the Capricorn Clark, the Kid Cuddy, the Punisher, the assistants. They'll have to go over all that. And or they could acquit. We could get an acquittal. If we get an acquittal, what will life look like for Sean P. Diddy Combs if there's an acquittal, if there's, or they go with the not guilty, Sean P. Diddy Combs goes home. He still has a lot of bills to pay. Who's going to pay off all of those people that have all of those claims going? Who's going to pay that? Will he come home and work just as hard? Will he have the same energy? Is there going to be like a sense of humility and kind of sit back and calm down and be a lot less Diddy, so that he can have a sense of coming to a whole new person of who he will be. I already told you he'll probably get a whole mega church and he'll become a pastor and he'll just be leading congregations to the Lord and bringing all the pimps and those off the street. I don't know. Honestly, I have nothing. I have no idea. But I do want to know what you guys think, so let me know. All right, we're wrapping up. That's our Diddy trial. Again, Fat Joe, the entire info about the Fat Joe hit with $20 million lawsuit, in addition to the Rock Nation lawsuit and T that dropped over the weekend. I have all of that in my YouTube on my YouTube profile. The video that's up is a 2-hour video. Click link in bio and you could go into that talk if you missed it over the weekend. All right, Texas. Texas, Texas, Texas. So Texas was waiting for the governor to make a decision because he had a bunch of bills and that he was able to veto if he desired to do so. So he had things to look at, like whether or not, sir, are you going to go forward with, allowing the 10 commandments to be in the school? And he goes, yep. That's set and done. He says the 10 commandments are in the school, is here to stay. And the 10 Commandments will be displayed in every classroom in every Texas public school. I think the private schools also will have to have the 10 Commandments of, yes, the Bible. 10 Commandments. It will be King James Version commandments will be posted in all of the schools. That's the decision that's made. That's Texas being Texas. Not surprised. Grew up Austin, Texas. Not surprised. Okay, Texas also made a decision that going forward, when it comes to Puff Puff Give, he didn't veto it by midnight. So because he didn't veto it, it goes forward. So legalization could what he didn't do was make it clear how far can they go. Can they open up dispensaries now? We know there's rumors of Dallas and Houston and different places have been training people to get their bud cards or whatever to work in actual dispensaries. Is he legalizing the entire state? Is that what he's doing? But it was mainly about the THC and the Delta that was inside of stores and different locations. Austin is a completely legal city. So it was within Travis County. Be careful. Be careful in Austin because you step over the Travis County line into that Williamson and you're looking at doing some, okay. But, with Travis County. Austin. Austin is huge. Austin, you talking, are you talking Austin? When you talking Austin, you talking San Marcos? Are you talking New Braunfels? Are you talking about us right here in Austin? Are you talking about Pflugerville, Round Rock, Cedar Park, Lampasas? Like, what are we talking about when it comes to the area of Austin? Like, it just expands really big. But so look, he didn't. So they go forward, everyone can continue, but he also kind of left it in a way where they can start opening up dispensaries. Did you just say that recreational is fine? Like, they had to get some clarity. So the governor went into some special session earlier today, and I haven't had the update in the news on the special session, but that is happening in Texas. Don't y'all come running to Texas? Don't y'all come running to Texas because you want to see if it's legal in these streets, because it's so many. Come to Texas on vacation. Don't know what you're doing. Leave on probation. Okay. All right. So you don't know, you know now. All right. Also, he legalized, he went ahead with the bill, didn't do anything about it to say no against the fact that homeschooling is fine. So if you want to homeschool, there's no more Texas Education Agency in the way. If you want to homeschool, you can homeschool, keep them home, teach them your way, teach them about, freak offs with Diddy, or teach them about an actual education so that they can make it in this world and go further in life. I don't know what you're going to teach them. You're at home with your children. That's on you. But you can do what you want to do now. So Texas is moving that legislation out of the way. Some other legislation that think I thought was interesting for, oh, he signed SB 2231 into law, which designates for Texans, for people that live in Texas, the second week of October as free college application week, and the Texas board is going to waive all college application fees during that week, and applies to the in-state and public universities. So the second week of October, and then also in addition to that, he did it where veterans that are trying to get certain licenses, you can now get so expeditiously. He kind of moved all the legislation that's been getting in the way of veterans trying to get licenses, maybe for working in security, law enforcement, etc. Different licensing that veterans were after. Another that he signed. Oh, how did I forget? LGBTQ. So he signed the HB 229. That particular bill is targeted. You have to go read the entire bill yourself. Targeted at LGBTQ plus. We're not really supposed to say that on here. Sorry, but um, creates legal definitions. So he signed legislation for those in that lifestyle. Creates legal definitions, and he says this for male and female sex only, genders only, reinforcing for the state of Texas in his HB 229 that Texas will only recognize two, male or female. Only two genders will be recognized. He kind of made that like a formal law in Texas. And of course, I talked about the kind of school education stuff and changes that were made. Told you about the 10 Commandments. All right, you guys, that's all I have for today. Diddy trial update. Like I told you, link in bio on my YouTube to get those full shows. For if you missed everything about Fat Joe, R. Kelly's getting married. Let's just wait to hear from Kels on that. He's in solitary confinement with the girl that says, that Johnson says that she's with him and they're getting married. She's been with him for 10 years. They're getting married and about to make some babies behind bars. So we don't understand how that's going to play out. We don't even know if R. Kelly has co-signed on that or not. That might have just been an Instagram moment on Beyonce's internet. We're not really sure. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming by. Give me a chance to please Beyonce's internet. We're not really sure. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming by. Give me a chance to please do follow the host. Please do follow the host when I go through and look at the timeline. Thank you for the 5K. Thank you for helping me get to 5K since December. Y'all know how much work that has been. Thank you so much for that. Mind, thank you so much for that. If you will follow my mind, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. No, not take that. Take that. No, don't do that to Diddy. Y'all stop doing that to Sean P. Diddy Combs, man. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a change, man. If Jesus will forgive, y'all have to forgive. All right. So, but I don't know. Who knows? He really might become a pastor and run a whole organization and bring all of hip hop to the Lord. What y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? If he bring all of hip hop to the Lord before he leaves Earth, what are y'all gonna do? Have a whole mega church going on if they end up letting him out. All right, that is all we have today on Sean P. Diddy Combs. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I am your host, D Shields. Coach D Shields. You can watch what D says the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I also keep complete links of the podcasts that I do on different platforms like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Those full shows recap over on YouTube, so you can go link in bio. If you want to read the relationship books, I thank you for all who came by the reading. That was what, 300 and something people. Thank you for stopping by that reading. That was fun to read from my book the other day. I'll choose another book and do so again. Not sure. Where did I read from? Oh, I'll read from this one. I'll read from Reason She's Excessive, and I might choose a chapter from, I can't say the title, right? So I might choose a careful chapter from the Grace Max Is Not Love and Never Will Be book also. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for following. I appreciate all the connections, the taps, the gifts, and heart me's, and all those great things. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.